Okay, Job has silenced his three critics and he is on a roll. Now he's going to go back in chapter 29. He's going to talk about the good old days. He hasn't changed. The times have changed. And he says, "Oh, for the days when I was in my prime, when God's intimate fellowship blessed my house, when the Almighty was still with me and my children were around me, when my path was drenched with cream and the rock poured out for me streams of olive oil." In other words, this is the great time of his life when he was prospering. He goes on and talks about how the respect that he had from the community. And then he just goes on a description of all the things that he had done, all the good things he had done. And basically countering all the arguments that his friends have had against him. And he just goes on and on and on. And when he gets to the climax here in this chapter in 29, he says, "I chose the way for them and sat as their chief. I dwelt as a king among his troops. I was like one who comforts mourners." This was Job's lot. I mean, he was quite blessed, quite honored. He had received the respect that a righteous man would have. But now things have changed. He hasn't changed. Things have changed. But now they mock me. Men younger than I, whose fathers I would have disdained to put with my sheepdogs. Now, granted, Job here's got an attitude. He's fallen from the very top to the very bottom. And so he basically just talks about how that people get discarded and how they just barely survive. And in his great power, God becomes like clothing to me. He binds me like the neck of my garment. He throws me into the mud, and I am reduced to dust and ashes. I cry out to you, God, but you do not answer. I stand up, but you merely look at me. In other words, he's not saying anything. You turn on me ruthlessly with the might of your hand. You attack me. And then he goes on and just continues this litany of accusations against God. Yet, when I hoped for good, evil came. When I looked for light, then darkness came. In other words, God isn't treating him as well as he treated other people. Self-pity is a horrible thing, and he's having a lot of it right here. And so we need to think, what is going on? What is Job missing? God is not that far. God is speaking. God has been speaking all along. Job just hasn't been seeing it. And so we're going to be talking about that and talking about Job's disposition. Now, this sums up his arguments. Well, nope. I take that back. We've got one more chapter, 31. That will sum up his arguments. So let's take a look at this. Think about it. Tomorrow, we'll look at 31.